Ariel Helwani here is the boxing presenter.
I think he's really good, you know. I think he's good at what he does.
He's got a very he's a bit divisive in the MMA community though. So interestingly, Brendan Schaub recently spoke about how he's got a reputation at ESPN for being extremely difficult to deal with. Have you heard about this, Tom?
Maybe.
Sorry, I didn't realise that was one of those things. But
I mean, the only encounters I've had with Ariel have been very good, and he's been very kind to us as well.
But I've got a lot of respect for him because I remember back in the day, and I'm talking 2009 maybe, when internet shows about MMA were literally at the birth of them, and I remember watching this skinny little fucking geek talking about MMA, and I was like, I don't know why this kid's talking about it, but he's the only thing I've got to watch right now. And why I always give him respect, regardless of whether or not I agree with, you know, I mean, I've seen him do softball interviews with McGregor, and you know, there's things where I'm like, you could have been better there, but he really, like I was talking about earlier about how we've earned the right to be here regardless. Like, he's earned the right to be the MMA journalist, you know. He really put the work in.
Yeah, he's just been there. He's been there for as long as you can remember, really. Some of the greatest MMA interviews of all time have been with Ariel. And I think it's just a sheer case of he's put in the time, he's put in the work. He's absolutely come at it as a professional wrestling type of interview.
Yeah. He's got a weird take on it, but I kind of I enjoy it though.
I think that's why he's here though, is because he knows how to sell a fight, he knows how to sell a feud, and that's what he's been doing in mixed martial arts since he's been in the sport. He's been selling feuds when maybe there wasn't feuds there in the first place, and he's been a very good instigator of fights as well. So I think that's why you've seen him in the face-to-face with Jake and Ty.
I thought he did very well in the face-to-face, to be fair. As much as I wish it was me there. He smashed it. I can't even lie. Like, he really did. And,
he did.
And good for him because he's battled some adversity as well. He had a beef with Dana White, and Dana...
The UFC's tough, man.
Yeah, they've really tried to annihilate Ariel Helwani because famously, I mean, there'd been a lot of things, but the most famous thing, you know what I'm going to say, is that they had re-signed Brock Lesnar for UFC 200, and they had this crown jewel moment where they were going to surprise everyone. And Ariel Helwani, as he always did, got notice of it before the event and posted it. And, you know, I think that was the end of the road for Dana, where he was like, ban him from everything. So when they partnered with ESPN, I think the writing was on the wall for Ariel, and he ended up having to go back to his old job, which he seems to love anyway, and now he's working with BT. You know, good for him, but it's a strange one because if you're an MMA journalist and Dana White hates you, that ain't going to work well, is it?
Because they've got a stranglehold on MMA as well.
Absolutely.
They are the monopoly.
They're the WA of MMA, obviously.
Yeah, they're the top dogs. And if you want to cover their event, it's more often than not, it has to be good press.
Bro, like, he literally said at the press conference, the Jake and Woodley press conference, it's been a long time since I've been to one of these. And I was like, wow, bro, like, you have paid your dues. Like, you deserve to be there.
It's an odd one. We've done a few events with the UFC where we've gone out to Vegas and we've covered it. And it's a bit of a circus, the media event out there. But
what is it like? Like, when you go there?
Oh, it's just mad. It's just mad. I mean, they basically put you in a room with about 15, 20, 30 other journalists. And, you know, when you're rocking around, you know, you couldn't bring any of these black magic set up and get the lighting that you want because you've already got a guy getting everything he needs on an iPhone. And I've been in a scenario where you've got Israel Adesanya sat next to his belt, and I've been waiting in line for my guy to talk to Izzy, and you've got a guy with an iPhone shoved to Israel Adesanya's face this close with an iPhone and asking him questions. It's the Wild West, what they've got going on there. But it's more about getting as many people in there as they can, rather than getting the quantity.
Mate, you fucking shocked me. Yeah. Wow. Like, this is meant.
Yeah, no, I've stopped talking. I'm just looking.
Mate, I realised my mouth was open when you were saying that.
It's difficult as well because I don't know whether or not they would like me saying this, or actually, no, fuck it, I can't say it. But it's probably an NDA, so I won't say it. But there's been some shocking things in some of their journo contracts, NDAs, I guess, that you go, why the fuck can't I ask about this? Because they don't want to talk about it. So how much as a journalist we're not journalists. That's the great thing about MMA On Point. We're just fans. We're a fan channel.
I hear you.
We've got no journalistic background, so we don't accredit ourselves to being journalists and holding ourselves to a journalist code. But if you were a journalist and you're getting a piece of paper that tells you what you can and can't say or ask, what the fuck is that about? Are you a journalist or are you just a yes man to the UFC? So that's the tough thing about their organization.
And that's very much, this is the Dana White way. The man is a gangster. And it's ironic because he recently had to answer a question. Jake Paul was asked in an interview, what happens if you ever run into Dana White? And he was like, I'll bang him out in a nightclub. Basically, which I thought, in my head, I'm like, you're a fucking genius, kid, because you know that is going to be clipped to fuck. And you've got a fight coming in 2 days. They're going to bring it up to Dana White. Like, of course he's not going to bang Dana White out in a nightclub, but it's a good thing. It's a clever move. And him and Dana already have beef. It ain't going to make it worse.
This is...
Doesn't want it.